Mama, I don't have time for dancing. That's just gonna have to wait a while. Wait, why do I have a pretend mic and I literally have a mic in front of me? This old town can slow you down. People taking the easy way. I know exactly where I'm going, getting closer, closer every day. I don't care. All right, let me get my sheet together. Welcome to Your World. I'm your host, Malaya, and I invite you to this space for women to reflect, learn from the lessons that life gives us while becoming the best version of ourselves. Always remember, it's your world. Go out and get what belongs to you. Hello, my queens. I have missed y'all. Y'all probably like, have you? Because we haven't heard from you in a minute. Y'all, there's been a lot going on since I've last talked to y'all. I know there's no excuses, but your girl's been dealing with life. I've been on and off sick. I told y'all last episode I was dealing with migraines. I still am, but there has been some positives. I got inducted into NCNW. I'm officially an N sister, okay? I got baptized. I got baptized. Let's take a moment. Like that. I'm so grateful that I was able to do that on my own terms. As I grew my relationship with God and learn more about what it meant to be baptized, I made that decision for myself. I'm very grateful to have officially given my life over to Christ and to be saved, okay? Can they see my leg? Yeah, don't be ghetto. As you can see, we have a different setup. I'm in my room. I told y'all we gonna be switching it up with the location. So today we are just in my room. Y'all see we got the mic. I told y'all we was official with it. Your world is only gonna get better and better every time you watch an episode. But y'all know we keep it real over here, so I'm not gonna give excuses for me not recording because that's on me. Even with all the things I've been going through, I still have a responsibility to put these videos out. So I'm going to apologize and tell y'all I'm getting better. I'm not even going to ask y'all for grace. I'm going to ask y'all to get on my ass, okay? Because I know I can do more and I should be doing more. So we're going to put the pedal to the metal and really invest time and energy into your world. I'm giving y'all my word. I told y'all last time, y'all know y'all not here for the aesthetics. And that's part of the reason, honestly, that was holding me back from recording because my hair has not been done. But it's girl, you still look good. Nobody's here to look at your hair. Y'all see, I'm missing nails. It's a lot going on. But like I said, you're here for the message. So my hair not being done is not an excuse. But I do want to come on here not looking crazy, you know? But anyway, this week's episode is titled Your Thoughts Create Your Reality. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been so excited to film this episode because y'all need to hear, I need to hear this. We all need to hear this. Your thoughts create your reality because it truly does. Before we get too far, I would like to share one good and bad thing from my day. One good thing from my day is honestly that I've done everything that I said I was going to do because that is something I'm working on within myself, keeping my word to myself. We don't realize, but it affects your interpersonal relationship when you say you're going to do something and then you don't do it because subconsciously you're going to start to not trust yourself and believe you're going to do the things you say, and that's going to in turn affect how you show up for yourself, but in my opinion at least. But yeah, everything on my to-do list got done today and some, so I'm very grateful for that. One bad thing from my day, even though I did do everything I said I was going to today, I did not wake up as early as I planned on because I used to be such a morning person. I'm talking about up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and now even waking up at 8 is hard for me. And so I'm trying to get back into that. I'm trying to train my circadian rhythm to be a morning person. Your productivity is more efficient when you try to get stuff done in the morning versus the nighttime because that's kind of how I got thrown off. I would think oh, I need to stay up late and get stuff done. But it's like, no, because first of all, your body is already shutting down by this point. You've already gone through a whole day. Like, you're tired. How do you expect to film a podcast episode, go to the gym, and if you've already gone through a whole day, like class, work, etc., you know? But yeah, so I was supposed to wake up at 5. I didn't wake up till 8, which isn't bad, but we gotta stick to what we say. A brief little overview of the episode. First, we're going to talk about how you are not your emotions, you feel them. Then, we're going to talk a little bit about manifestation, the law of attraction, stoicism, all those theories and practices. Then, I'm going to give you some steps to reframe your mindset. And then finally, we're going to talk about how perspective is a huge component in shifting your mindset. So, first, I am not my emotions. I feel them. And I feel like this is something everybody needs to learn. I know so many people in my personal life and just in general that allow themselves to get consumed with their emotions because they become them. And it's like, no, you're not sad, you're not mad, you're not irritated, you're not annoyed. You feel those things. You feel sad, you feel mad, you feel irritated. When you like say, oh, I'm sad, I'm mad, you're identifying with those emotions and then it's harder to come out of them. Versus if you say, oh, I feel sad, you're recognizing that this is just a feeling that's temporary and that, will pass. Your emotions are meant to come and go. No matter how hard you try to suppress them, you're gonna feel them. The best thing to do is allow yourself to feel your emotions, because the more you suppress them and it builds up, you're gonna like explode later down the line. But the key is to not hold on to a negative emotion for a long time, because that's how you become consumed with it and it starts to become your identity. If something happens that makes you feel a negative emotion, recognize that emotion, analyze why you feel that way. Why are you upset? Why did that make you angry? And then allow yourself to, again, feel those emotions. But then after that, snap out of it. Literally, snap out of it. Like, okay, you need to allow yourself to be mad for about 10 to 15 minutes. But after that, you need to move on. The more and more you feed negative emotions, the stronger they become. And like I said, this is something I also like am actively working on, because I know when something pisses me off, I do a good job at like allowing myself to be mad in the moment. But then, when you bring something back up, you get mad all over again. And then now those negative feelings are back. And now you just whole day ruined again. It's like, no, feel the emotions in the moment. And then after that, you need to allow them to die off. Reframe that anger to a lesson. Like, somebody just did something that made you so upset, but what did you learn from that? What did they teach you about yourself or them? Also, I want y'all to remember that your thoughts are not facts and you don't have to accept them all. I think it was last episode I said it, but I honestly don't remember the exact amount. But we have so many thoughts every minute, every hour, every day, and you won't align with every single thought that passes your brain, but you don't have to accept them either. We're going to talk about this a little later, but I do want to like lightly touch on it now. But in my opinion, a lot of negative thoughts we have stem from your brain either trying to keep you safe or from the enemy trying to throw you off. But we're going to talk about that later. If you're already an insecure person or you're not as confident and you receive any type of judgment or critique, that's gonna like sink you further into that hole, if that makes sense. Which is why it's important to, one, have that strong relationship with yourself, to become a confident person, but then also know how to reframe your mindset, because the key to being successful, the key to elevating your life is having a positive mindset. Your thoughts can impact your personal fulfillment, your relationships, and the opportunities you seek out. So that's why if you want to live a certain lifestyle, you won't get closer to all the things you see for yourself if it's just a once in a while thought and you're not actively engaging your brain to like, I don't know the scientific terms, but if you're not activating those neurons in your brain to like make this thing familiar to you, then it won't be attainable. I'm not going to spend much time on it just because I'm not 1000% educated on this topic. However, I have been practicing it, and For me, it works, and if it doesn't work for you, then that's okay. But like I said, it works for me. So I just want to talk a little bit about manifestation. Let's get a clear definition on what manifesting is. So, manifestation is the practice of bringing desires into reality through focused thought, belief, and action. Let's highlight that last part: focused thoughts, belief, and action. You have to put action behind these words. We're not just saying, oh, I want to be rich, but what are you doing to get there? You actually put in like work in to attain these things, or are you just saying you want them? Manifesting is not wishing on a star. Like, we're not just hoping and hoping that things can happen. We're affirming and declaring, this is the life that I want. This is something I will receive. Money is something that flows easily to me. These are all things that you can say as many times as you want, but if you're not actually putting the work in to be able to receive these things or live a certain way, then it won't happen. Not to like contradict myself. Well, I feel like it's not the same thing, but I was gonna say, I feel like you, to start off with manifesting and even with changing your mindset in general, you have to fake it till you make it. Like, even if you don't believe something right now, you need to keep reminding yourself and telling yourself this until you do believe it. And when you start to really believe you can have certain things, that's when it will easily start to flow to you. And that is kind of getting into the law of attraction. Personally, the form of manifesting that I partake in is verbal and written. Sometimes when I'm journaling, I like to write down certain things that I want for myself, but I'll write it down as if I already have it, or like declaring that I'm going to have it. So I can't wait to take my vacation to the Bahamas. That's not even planned yet, but it's gonna happen. And then also verbal manifesting, I actively say out loud, like, hey, you are gonna be rich. Like, all the things that you want for yourself, you need to not only be thinking it, but you need to say it out loud. That's why we say the affirmations at the end of each episode, because you need to declare it and put it into the universe. I'm grateful to be thriving financially. Saying the things you want as if it's already yours brings it closer to you. And that is the law of attraction. Positive thinking leads to positive experiences. Positive thinking leads to positive experiences, which makes sense. Like, I feel like this sounds like it's common sense, but it's still kind of hard for us. Like, if you are constantly telling yourself, my dreams are unrealistic, I don't have the resources they do to get where I want to be, what if I fail? Even saying I will never find someone to take me serious. You feeding yourself these negative thoughts not only affects how you show up for yourself, but that'll be exactly what you attract into your life. And why is it so hard for us to constantly think positive? Like, why does our brain like to work against us and feed us negativity? Like, I don't know. I wish I knew the answer to that. Actually, I do have a theory on that, because our brains are wired to keep us safe. Like, your brain is going to try its best to keep you in your comfort zone. So, whenever something is unfamiliar or unusual to your brain or out of the routine, it's going to trick you into like shying away from those things. For example, me starting these video or like visual episodes, like I said, I see your world going to a certain point. Like, I have goals and things I'm trying to accomplish. So visual episodes is something that I needed to get comfortable with. But I'm not really used to being on camera. I'm not a social media person, so I'm not really used to, you know. But so my brain will try to find all these excuses and come up with all these reasonings why why I can't do it. But that's why you need to work against your brain, because if you don't, it's going to keep you in your comfort zone, and your comfort zone will kill you. Have y'all heard that before? I don't know where that quote comes from, but like, I've heard that so many times. Your comfort zone will kill you, because it will. So yeah, that's why I think our brain feeds us so much negativity, is because it's trying to keep us safe, which makes sense because our brain, like, have y'all ever met someone and they seemed like too good to be true? So like, in your head you're like, nah, something's not right, or like, I'm waiting for you to mess up. That's an example of your brain trying to keep you safe. I forgot to add this, but an important part, I would say, to practicing the law of attraction would be to also practice stoicism, which is the practice of disconnecting from things that are out of our control, which a lot of us, a lot of us need to do because as humans, we have this like need to be in control all the time, which I feel like, especially the things we can't control, people tend to pour energy and emotions into. Someone does something weird to you and shows you their true colors. A situation didn't work out in your favor or how you intended on it to, so you like react, but it's like neither one of those things was in your control. You cannot control who someone truly is once you like find out. And then you can't control every situation. So it's like why give out your energy to something that you couldn't have made any impact on? So just a little recap on the three theories slash practices that we just discussed. Manifestation is a practice of bringing desires into reality through focused thought, beliefs, and action. And action. Okay. Um, the law of attraction, which says that positive thinking leads to positive experiences. Like your thoughts create your reality. So the more positive thinking you have, the more positivity that will come your way. And then finally, stoicism, which is the practice of disconnecting from things that are out of your control. If you can't control it, why pour energy into it? I gave y'all this acronym last episode, but there's an acronym for peace, which is positive energy activates constant elevation. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the law of attraction. The more positive and fruitful your thoughts are, the more opportunities that will come your way. You'll start to have a better relationship with yourself, with others. Just doing what I do. Look out, boys, I'm coming through and I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Since we were just talking about the brain, I do want to talk a little bit about neuroplasticity. Y'all probably like, girl, what the hell? What is that? Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. So, like I said, the brain is wired to keep you safe, to keep you in your comfort zone. So, you have to actively combat that to be able to grow your brain, grow out of mindsets. You have power over your brain. And I feel like, let me say that one more time. You have power over your brain. You have power over your mind. You have the power to grow and strengthen your brain and mindset. So stop thinking that it's the other way around and you're stuck this way, but you're not. Neuroplasticity is important for learning, growth, and resilience because it shapes how your mind adapts to the world, if that makes sense. This whole episode is really for myself because I needed this around this time because I have been dealing with a lot internally and I just need a reminder that there is so much power in the tongue. Like what you speak over yourself is what's gonna become your reality. If I keep saying I'm broke, I don't have time to do the things I enjoy, I'm not locked in with my podcast. If I keep saying that, then that's gonna be harder for me to get back on track. So what I like to do when I find myself being negative, like as soon as I say something, like yesterday, I went shopping and I spent money that I did not need to, and I was like, I'm so broke. And I said, no, I just don't have as much money right now. Like whatever you need to say, don't say you're broke because you're not broke. You're just in the off season, you just waiting for a come up. Instead of saying, oh, I'm not locked in with my podcast, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, I should be saying, there's something holding me back. So I need to figure out what that is to be able to fully invest and pour into your world. Every time you have a negative thought, reframe it immediately with something positive or even if it's a different wording. If you're just saying, I just don't got it right now, that's better than saying I'm broke. I keep using money as an example because y'all know times is hard and stuff ain't cheap nowadays. So yes, money is a big not I don't know what to say. That's not the right word. Money is a conversation that a lot of us are having. If you are used to money not being easily accessible, or you're, like I said, I kind of had the mindset when I was younger that money was hard to get or something you need to hustle and work very hard to get. So if you have all these negative emotions associated with the idea of money and spending it, once you reframe that mindset to money isn't a negative thing, I can have a positive relationship with money. I thrive financially. That's when situations happen like gas prices rising and groceries costing $1 million, it won't affect your mental health or your thoughts, and in turn, it won't affect your reality. Another reason people get consumed in their negative thoughts is because people compare themselves to other people. I know y'all have heard the quote, comparison is a thief of joy. I just seen a video of this girl like bawling her eyes out because she was like, I work so hard every day and I still can't afford my bills. And she's like, they say not to compare yourself to people, but it's hard when I'm struggling and I see this person thriving, living their best life. But you need to remember your journey is your journey and theirs is theirs. Your path may not look identical or even similar to the next person's, but if I'm constantly on TikTok and looking at all these people live their best life and I'm just sad because I'm not, that time I'm using to invest into them and their lives, I could be investing into myself so I could live that same lifestyle. Except that, okay, this is where I am in life. I'm grateful for all the things that I have, but don't get comfortable when new opportunities come or you meet new people or something in your brain is telling you you got to do something different. Don't get comfortable to the point that change is uncomfortable. And then along with that, think about all the things you do have right now. Like, we like to focus on what we don't have and then not appreciate or take for granted the things we do have. Like, I have no reason to complain about my life right now. I have a roof over my head. I have clothes on my body, food in the fridge, pursuing a degree, a podcast. I'm turning 21 this year. There's so much for me to be grateful for. Why would I focus my attention on the things that I don't have? Because there's people that wish they had the things that I have. There are people that wish they have the things that you have. So you need to be grateful because they could be gone. Everything you have right now today could be gone by the blink of an eye. So that's why it's important to appreciate what you have, because once it's gone, you're gonna realize, like, damn, I was really fortunate. My next sub point says that sometimes we have to look at the glass half full. Our brains can be so negative. It always looks at situations or whatever like it's a bad thing all the time. When, like, if you just do a 180 on your thinking, you can see it from a different perspective and realize that this isn't a bad thing. Y'all know everything happens for a reason. So even if this was a bad thing, what was the lesson in it? What did you learn? Or what transpired because of that? So, for example, the other day I was on campus and I was leaving class and I was supposed to be going to like this money management seminar type thing. But, I didn't get the memo that it was business casual, and I definitely did not come, which I should have known. It was a money seminar. Okay, whatever. I was not dressed for the occasion, and I go to school in Atlanta. I go to Georgia State. They're doing construction on our campus right now, and it's very disruptive to the route because y'all know GSU is downtown, so it's like you have to walk through all these spaces and down these paths and stuff, but the construction is kind of throwing that off. So, on top of not being dressed for the occasion, I just had a lot of unnecessary walking to do, and I was just not in the mood. I was just irritated. And after I decided, like, okay, I'm not going to go to the money management seminar, I'm just going to go to the library. Didn't have my ID. Didn't have my ID. In that moment, it just felt like one bad thing after another. So I was just like, F it, I'm going home. Like, forget all this. I'm about to just go home. And as I was walking to the bus stop, these two girls stopped me, and they stopped me and they're like, oh, we have a upcoming podcast and we want to hear what like students want to hear as far as episodes. And I thought that was so cool because they have a Christian podcast, and I feel like we definitely need a space for casual and comfortable conversation about the Lord. So I love that. But anyway, I told them like I also have a podcast, and then we had like a long conversation and connected, and then Zoom meeting the next day, and it was just a good conversation. And it's like if I would have went to that seminar, if I would have went to the library, I would have never met them. So after that, I kind of took it as okay, I was meant to not like that was meant to happen like that. Everything played out how it was meant to. Also, when we talk about looking at the glass half full, don't beat me up, but like I said last episode, we all going through things. Like y'all know I don't do that victim mentality. We all go through hard times in life. We, you know, kicking our butt sometimes. It could be worse. It literally could be worse. It literally could be worse. Like we like to complain about worldly things, and it's like there are people going through much worse, even in other countries. Like that's why when I find myself complaining, I'm like, okay, that's enough. Like I let myself get 1 to 2 max complaints about something, and then after that, it's like, all right, that's enough because I don't like to have a complaining spirit, or I at least try not to have a complaining spirit. It's easy for you to get consumed in your current reality if you focus on that instead of your desired one. If I'm constantly telling myself, oh, I wish I was making 6 figures by now. I wish I had that condo. I wish I was in a healthy relationship. If you focus on, again, the things you don't have, but also where you are right now, instead of trying to get where you want to be, you're going to just stay stagnant. You can expect to live a high vibrational life if you have low vibrational thinking. Like, I won't be this successful, intellectual, caring person if I'm constantly focused on what I don't have, if I'm letting my negative thoughts consume me. You have to elevate your mind, feed yourself positivity, and then I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna talk more about this at the end, but read your scripture, get in that Bible, okay? Realize that not everyone has the power to create the life they desire. A lot of people have it in them. It's those negative mindsets that keep people from reaching that point in life. Like it's not that people aren't talented, it's that their brain is working against them to keep them down. I've already talked about this. Limited beliefs hold people back, and people feel like they can't reach their goals or things aren't realistic for them. They will project that onto you to try to keep you down, and you cannot allow them to. Shout out to my old friend Kennedy. She does Bible study lessons. I'll, if I remember, link her Instagram on the video, but we talked about during Bible study was that the enemy, the only access he has to you is through your mind. He doesn't have power over your life, he doesn't have power over your circumstance. So the only way, again, he can attack you is through your mind. So you have to read your scripture, keep feeding yourself those positive thoughts. Whenever I have a thought that is doesn't align with myself or what God has planned for me or what I know God is trying to instill in me, I'm like, nope, that's the enemy trying to throw me off. Like, even when I feel negative about my appearance, about my financial status, about where I am in life, I'm like, no, he's trying to trick me into believing these things so I won't become this person. I took this screenshot from the Bible study. I'm just going to read one sentence from it, but it says, I don't know if these are Kennedy's words or what, but I'm gonna give her credit for it. But it says most people lose this fight with the enemy because they aren't changing their world with their mind. They're responding to the world with their emotions, which is kind of what we've been talking about. You can feel your emotions, but you don't allow yourself to become them. Again, everything happens for a reason and on God's timing, because I've been beating myself up about not recording this episode, but I had Bible study on Monday with Kennedy, and that's when we started this unit. And I was like, that aligns with the episode I'm supposed to film. So, like, I got more insight from, especially from a spiritual context, and it like reassured me that I'm not making this up. Like, this is your thoughts create your reality. The last sentence on this slide that Kennedy has says, once you change your mindset, you can change your reality. Like, is that not what we're talking about right now? Like that just aligns perfectly, and I love that. So shout out to Kennedy. Like I said, I'm gonna try to link, put her Instagram at the bottom, but and also keep in mind that the enemy will try to throw you off not only through your own brain, but through the thoughts of other people. What you consume on social media, what you watch on TV, the music you listen to, all the things that have a negative energy, he will use those things and bring you closer to them to bring you further away from God, if that makes sense. When you notice that you are still having those negative thoughts, negative mindsets, you need to work even harder to remove them because they're still present in your brain. You're human and we are going to have negative thoughts, but you don't have to align with them. First, when you have a negative thought come about, I would say to analyze the negative thought you have and where it stems from, because doing so will get you to the root of it, and like it'll be easier to diminish that thought when you know where it comes from. And then you need to be constantly be pouring yourself positivity. Even before the negative thoughts come, you need to actively be telling yourself, you're smart, you're pretty, you got a lot going for yourself, you're kind, you're good at this, you're good at that. Whatever it is, you just need to feed yourself positivity about yourself and about your circumstances. You are doing very good right now. You're doing well in school. Y'all know I work with kids, so you are changing these kids' life. These kids love you. Another negative mindset that I actively work to switch. Currently work as an after school teacher, and we are understaffed. Like understaffed. As you could imagine, that gets hard. Like 24, well, 24-year-olds by my, like, that's double the ratio I'm supposed to be in. So that gets stressful and I get very annoyed at work. But then I'm like, okay, well, me being by myself with 20 kids forces me to be more attentive, be more alert, to pay more attention to my surroundings, to actively engage with each child. Like it is challenging me to become better in a way. That is all I have for today. A quick little recap. I am not my emotions. I feel them. I'm not mad. I'm not sad. I feel mad. I feel sad. Don't allow yourself to be consumed by your emotions, because doing so further sinks you into it and it'll be harder to get out of that feeling. Your thoughts are not facts and you don't have to accept all of them. Practice manifestation, but remember, we're not just wishing on a star. You're affirming and declaring, but also putting action behind those words. The law of attraction says that positive thinking leads to positive experiences, and stoicism is the practice of disconnecting from what you cannot control. If it's out of your power, don't give it energy, queen. Accept where you are in life, but don't become comfortable to the point where change is frightening. Perspective is a huge component in creating your reality. It's easy to get consumed in your current reality when you focus on that one instead of the one you desire. But realize that not everyone has the power to create the life they want, because people are consumed by their thoughts and don't know how to flip their mindset. The only access the enemy has to you is through your brain. So he will try to trick you and deceive you to self-sabotaging or turning away from God. So that is all I have for today. If you made it this far, I love you. And I will be right back because y'all know we do our affirmations at the end of each episode, and I need to go get those. Well, actually, I lied. I have our affirmations already. I'm trying to decide if I want to because I do like the randomness with the, like, me putting my finger on the poster and like just picking one, but I feel like the affirmations should align with the episode as well. So I'm gonna decide how we're gonna go about that moving forward. But today our affirmations um tie in with our conversation. So give me 1 second. My dream life will become my reality. I accept who I am while I continue to improve myself. Y'all know what I'm gonna say. Did you do those affirmations? Did you? Hmm? Before I close out, I just want to make a promise to y'all again that your girl is going to do better, okay? Like, the episodes are going to get better, but my posting is going to get better. Like, I need to get on my Zoom. I know, and I will. I will, because, yeah, enough said, but I will do better, okay? Make sure you follow Your World on all platforms at Your World Podcast, and I will see you next episode. Bye.